and gents, we are ready to rock and roll. Guests had to reschedule, so we're doing this my way. It is time that I start building a team. So let me tell you what we're going to be talking about today. The different aspects and team members that I'm looking for. So let's get this show on the road. Let's ready to rock and roll. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life. Prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Boss! Ooh, all right, let's do this thing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so 20 years, dude. I've been doing a business of some sort for the last 20 years, roughly. I think about 20 years. 20 years ago is when we bought our first house, James and I. Parents helped us out. They showed us the way. We were able to turn in all our information in, get our stuff pre-qualified. And then before you knew it, somebody gave us the keys to our own place. That was ridiculously crazy. And it sparked what the next 20 years would come. I got learning about real estate investing, became a real estate agent, started a computer company, started learning about taxes and accounting and all kinds of different cool stuff. Now, I'm at the point where if I was to start another business, I would not want to be the one who is doing the actual work behind it. Right? I know that sounds a little bit weird, except for maybe this podcasting, because I love hopping behind the mic and talking to people. It's kind of my thing. But I've built so many small businesses. I've had a tax practice since 2006. I've had my real estate license for, 6-7 years now. We've been doing this podcast for over 4 years, creating social media content and learning marketing, advertising, all cool things like that. And it's about time that I kind of put them together. It's about time that we start making these things happen. And so today's episode is about building a team. So I'm literally out here looking for people who are really good at what they do in their specific fields, and they want to be part of a team. I'm actively looking for team members. I'm gonna start off with like story mode, right? Because that's really where things come in. I started a computer repair business with James a long time ago. And it was doing relatively well. We ended up opening a store. We had employees. All was good. And then James kind of decided that he was going to join the military, and he took off. And I had zero experience in business at the time. I didn't know anything. I wasn't keeping books. I wasn't really paying any payroll taxes, nothing like that. And so when he left, I went to shut this thing down, and I learned who Uncle Sam was and what employment taxes were and what payroll taxes were and what, filing income tax returns, your 1120s and your 1040s, all that stuff. And I realized I didn't know any of it. And so I enrolled in tax school. I started doing tax returns with H&R Block, started teaching tax school. And slowly but surely, I started to grow this small tax practice. And it's not very big. I think last year we did 124 returns. It's not a lot of returns. But in the last couple years, I've brought on Noemi. She's my tax manager. And this year we're doing a lot of things where we're systematizing the process to the point where we can start bringing on tax preparers on a regular basis. Bringing them on, onboarding them, having a system in place to monitor and track all the returns that we're doing, having a system in place to send out signatures. All that stuff is being set up right now as we speak. And it's super cool because prior to that, I was afraid to advertise the fact that I had a tax practice because I didn't really want to do all these different tax returns, to be 100% honest with you. But I love talking about taxes, having that information in my head, knowing how taxes work, the ins and outs of how, things flow from your 1120s through your into your Schedule E, through your K1s. I mean, all this stuff, right? That for the average person, it's like, whoop, goes over their head. For me, I speak that language. And I've been wanting to build a business around that. And I just didn't have the system in place. I didn't have the people in place. And now we do. So my first pitch to everybody is, who do you know who's in the tax business that wants to grow their business and needs a team behind them? Software, uh, training, all those different things put in place. So that's avenue number one, right? And the reason why I start there is because, if you ever go to businessbros.biz, you go to the website, the one question I ask you is, how can I help your business grow? And when I was in the tax space, it was really an eye opener to see the different ways that people use their income essentially. See, I always called it a therapy session every year when I sit down with a client. And I learned things like never judge a book by its cover. You see the guy that walks in and he's wearing like completely dirty clothes and you don't even think twice. But when you sit down and do his tax return, you realize, whoa, this guy's loaded. He's got multiple properties. He's got multiple businesses. And you didn't see that right off the bat. But when I had that very first experience, I realized, you know what? There are so many different opportunities when you're sitting down and helping somebody with their tax return. They literally ask you for help in a lot of different places. They may have gotten good at how to start a particular business or how to invest in properties, but it doesn't mean they know the other aspects of business. And so when I ask that question, how can I help your business grow? Oftentimes I get different questions. Some people need accounting help. Some people need that tax help. Some people need help with their insurance. Some people need help with their real estate. And so I started in branching out into these other businesses because I was doing tax returns. I would sit down with somebody and I do their tax return and they're like, hey, do you know somebody who can help me with my 401k? I'm like, you know what? I don't. Let me see if I can find something out. And I'd get into that space and I'd learn a little bit more. I ended up getting my license in insurance in that spot. And all of a sudden it was a different revenue source, something else that I could offer my particular clients. And so we started in the tax business and it opened up so many doors. And I want to make sure that I can do that again now, but do it at a larger scale. Open the doors up to be able to help not only individuals, but small business owners, especially the ones that come on the show that are looking for different types of things. All the real estate agents that I know that are looking for tax preparers to help them get from, point A, which is they're collecting commissions, to point B, which is essentially at the end of the year, they have the money set aside so they can pay their tax burden or have a strategy in place so that they're constantly making those estimated payments ahead of time or saving taxes, whatever we can do for them. So, at the forefront for me, it's going to be those building that tax business. That's where my attention is right now, to build that tax practice. But I need your help, right? I need more tax professionals to come in who want to sit down and do those tax returns, but are afraid of how they're going to grow their business, right? And so the second part of that is content creation. So we've been doing this podcast now for a little over 4 years, over 1,000 episodes that we've recorded. And what I've learned is this has been one of the greatest networking, prospecting platforms that I've ever come across, and brand building at the same time. So I've been able to massively increase my network. I know so many different professionals in so many different industries all around the world. It's been phenomenal for that. But on the flip side, we've been creating so much content that when I Google, like if you were to Google my name, Hernan Cias, Hernan, last name is Sias, right? If you Googled my name, there's page after page after page of who I am. And I've been able to build that brand. I've been able to do that through content creation, by podcasting, by creating short form pieces of content, by doing that sort of stuff. And that opened the door to marketing and paid ads. You see, that's the skill set that I was able to learn and develop through podcasting. And now I'm able to apply it to some of these other businesses. So, first and foremost, I said, I'm looking for tax preparers. What I want to be able to do is open up the floodgates of bringing in clients, but I want to make sure that I have people there to handle the clients that I can bring in. Because at the end of the day, people want to work with people they know, like, and trust. And I've built a nice email list of different people who've been on the show, a nice email list of real estate agents who are out here who are looking for, products and services just like this, who need this help all the time. But I don't want to start opening up that content to promote that sort of stuff if I don't have a team behind me. Right. So if you are a tax preparer, a tax preparer who wants to take their business to that next level, and they need marketing behind their stuff. They need organization, structure, and training. And send them my way at Business Bros Pod for our DMs. Right. So that's number one, that's that second part, which is that content machine, right? I literally was just on a call with a potential team member to help me with more of this content machine stuff, to build a team behind me to take a platform like this, people who are already creating podcasts, or more likely, the people that I end up working with, whether they're real estate agents, tax professionals, or insurance agents, to give them the ability to market and grow their client base through content creation. And I'm talking like content at scale. Like right now, the way I'm doing it with the show, it is already ahead of a lot of people. We post every single day. We're creating content on a regular basis. We're taking some short clips, but it's just still the tip of the iceberg. I'm really looking, that next part is to partner with people who already have some of these agency things in place, some of these content creation things in place, to really accelerate what I'm already doing, and to really push that envelope a little further so that we can really target some of these different businesses that I want to make sure I systematize. So one's the tax practice, the other one is the insurance side. So once I started teaching taxes, I got recruited by Mike Russ Financial Training Center. They literally do licensing for insurance agents, real estate agents, taxes. So I started teaching tax school there, and the owner and I kind of hit it off. We became really good friends, and we started an insurance business together. It's called Pipeline Insurance, and we train insurance agents to go out and write insurance. We give them the opportunity with the appointments that we have with different insurance carriers, and that's how we built our insurance business. And again, we've gone through a number of different insurance agents in this business. We bring on insurance agents, they come on board, they have all the tools accessible, but what they struggle at is getting more clients. I mean, I talk to business owners every single day. This is one of the biggest problems that most businesses struggle with, is customer acquisition, is being able to generate leads to come in to convert these people into paying customers. And insurance is super competitive, especially if we're talking about paid ads, for example, because you're competing with some of the biggest names in the industry. I love to do this example, by the way. I do it in my classroom, and I talk about the importance of advertising and creating a message, because it really, really sinks in if you're able to repeat your message over and over, whether you build a character or something that brings about a memorable experience with commercials. And so I do this in my classroom, and it just shows you the power of how much these insurance companies are spending on their marketing. So mind you, these are 17-year-old students. I'll tell them, I go, you guys have been conditioned. The marketing for these insurance agencies is amazing. And here's how I know. And I'll tell them, I'm like, hey, 15 minutes can save you. And then I stop. And right away, you hear the entire class go 15% on auto insurance. And they know that's Geico. Right. And I go, we are farmers. And I stop. And the whole class goes, bump, 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 bump. Right. And then I stop and I'm like, how many of you have ever bought insurance before? And not a single one, because they're 17. What business do they have buying insurance? They don't have any business buying insurance at this point, but they are so conditioned with all the marketing that's been put in place. They just spent the right money. They put it in the right place. And these kids, 17, 16, 15, I would do this with 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds. They know all the taglines for these insurance companies, and they don't even know at that point what insurance even is. Right. So when I talk to my insurance agents, when they come on board, how do we get them to generate more clientele? And this is where the content machine, right, building a lot of this content comes into play, because I absolutely cannot compete with the money on pay-per-click or things like that. Facebook ads, I can't really compete with insurance companies. They pay a lot more for each individual lead than you and I, the small business owner, can. But you know what we can do is we can create community. We can create networking events. We can create small podcasts. We can create small clips. We can create social media content so that the insurance agent is known in his sphere of influence or in his small industry. And that is what is going to help generate their leads for more business because they're connecting with people one-on-one, right? Geico, State Farms, Farmers, they're all connecting with everybody and they'll get the lion's share of the market. But when we start talking about a little more personal, right, that's when you reach out to the guy that you know. And how do you become the guy that you know? That's where Content Machine comes in place, right? So again, building your team. Right now, the main focus of building my team is building that tax practice because that is something that everybody absolutely needs. They need to file their tax return. And I'm going to use what I've built with the podcast, creating a content machine so that I can generate those leads for these existing businesses. I mean, it's not super difficult. It's not very complex, but it does require a team. It does require people that have that want to be on that same mission. So that's realistically where my business lies. I got one more, which is on the real estate side. And here's the thing. I'm not huge on going and being the agent that represents you at all times. But I know some really good real estate agents, especially here in San Diego, because that's where I'm from, right? But I know some really good real estate agents. I mean, some amazing ones, some that have amazing systems in place, like an auction platform, for example. If you are a seller and you want to sell your home, but you don't want to pay 6% commission, right? Well, what about maybe you pay like 2 or 3 just to the buyer who comes in, and we'll set it up so that the buyer pays the other side. I mean, that's a unique strategy that not very many agents will tell you about because a lot of them are going to be on the buyer side and they don't want to have to negotiate that commission with their agents. But we have a platform that's already set up for you. So if you're selling your home and you want to save yourself commission, in other words, you want more money in your pocket, I know a great team of agents that can help you do that. And on the flip side, you want to buy a place. Not all agents are created equally, right? So I know some of the agents that are top producing, that are creating marketing content around their business day in and day out. They have marketing machines so far in place that they got lists of potential buyers ready to rock and roll. If you are a buyer and you want to work with a buyer's agent who really knows their stuff, I can hook you up with those people too. Right. And this is really where it all comes down to. I want to be able to create a team of people that's helping me generate content at scale to funnel in to help these small business owners. And that's why I do what I do in my classroom. Right. In my classroom, I'm just sparking those ideas of my students so that they can become those entrepreneurs that later go out and need some of this marketing material, who go out and later and change people's lives by helping them, who come back to me and they're like, hey, I want to work directly with you because you taught me how to do this stuff. That's the short-term plan. That's the goal. That's the building of the team. So this episode is just that. Are you in the content creation business? Do you have a system in place, something super cool that is going to help me create content at scale, something that you want to partner with? Are you a tax professional looking to grow your business, looking to get that marketing material that you need to help you go from 100 tax returns to 1,000 tax returns in one tax season? Is that what you're looking for? Are you an insurance agent and you want to grow your business? You don't know where to park it. You need a better commission plan and you need a team to back you up with marketing. That's what we're here for. And of course, buyers and sellers of real estate, right? You got a home you need to go buy. The market is shifting. We are starting to see prices come down just a wee bit, but we're starting to see them come down. And if you're selling your home, now's the time to get on it because the market is shifting. You need to sell as soon as possible. And if you don't have an agent to work with, trust me, I'm part of a worldwide brokerage. Quite literally, EXP is the brokerage that I'm with. And for one reason and a lot of reasons, but one main reason, because now I have access to a world network of agents that I can help you with. So start here. Start with the Business Bros. How can I help your business grow? That's the message for today's episode. So if you guys know of anybody, I'd love some referrals. Send them our way at Business Bros Pod. And other than that, I'll catch you guys on the flip one. Peace. We're out.
It's over. Go home.
Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz